On top of that, breaking news out of Charlotte's SouthPark neighborhood today, where crews are still battling a 5-alarm fire. Thankfully, though, we can't see the flames anymore, but there is still heavy smoke in that area. That's right. We want to get out to our Savannah Rudisell, who is at Fairview, right near where the fire was. There's a lot of activity still over there. Savannah, what are we seeing and what have you learned since we last talked to you?
Yeah, Julian, Annie, we understand, of course, that fire is under control, but we are still smelling, feeling a lot of that smoke. We're about 2 blocks away from where that fire started, and because of the wind and because of just how thick it was in this area, we're absolutely still feeling it. But what we can say since we last talked to you is actually there is quite a bit of the officials' presence dying back. We see that some of the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's deputies have left this intersection here right by the Piedmont Town Center, right along Fairview Road. We've seen that, of course, still quite a few Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers who are blocking off the intersection and keeping some of the people away from the scene a little bit more. Of course, a lot of Charlotte firefighters and some of those larger ladder trucks, those are still here right along this intersection as well. But from when we talked to you probably just about 10-20 minutes ago, there is quite a fewer. From above, you could see a lot of the smoke and the flames coming out of that apartment that was under construction. Officials tell us that this building, it was not finished, so there were no residents inside, but we understand there were quite a few construction workers who were working on this apartment at the time. We heard here within the last 15 minutes from Medic 911 that their officials did transport one person to the hospital with serious injuries. We're going to stay on top of that and make sure we understand their condition, and we'll be talking more with officials a little bit later on today to get more of a count as to how many people may have been in this building at the time, get an update on that person's condition. So, of course, there is still much more to learn here, but we do see some of the officials start to move away as some of these flames do start to get in control. But to be clear, right along Fairview Road, a lot of parts around SouthPark are still going to be very shut off, very closed down. Anyone who has to drive through SouthPark should try to find some alternate routes. Police do still ask that people avoid the area. That's going to make it easier for them to do their job and easier for them to be able to get the resources that they need where they need them. Reporting live in SouthPark, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Now, she mentioned she's about 2 blocks away from where that fire started, so we're going to take you closer there now, and you can see the smoke surrounding that crane where crews had to rescue a worker who was trapped up there during this 5-alarm fire. And we know that the flames were so large and potentially there was the worry of debris being spread to other buildings.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely heartbreaking at first when we saw the images from our Brett Baldeck, our Daniel Pierce out there of that crane operator pretty much stuck up there. But we know from talking with the Waxhaw fire chief who was listening in, they were able to put water on that crane there to make sure that metal didn't twist, the crane didn't fall. And then the crane operator actually had to start climbing down, and firefighters had to climb up the crane to rescue them. They weren't able to use the ladders there because it was too tall. They had to climb over 100 feet to pull off that rescue, but truly a miracle in the middle of a lot of craziness today.
Sorry, what a terrifying experience to be up there and wondering if you're going to make it out of that situation. And businesses around there too impacted by this, a terrifying situation for them too. So we're going to go out live to our chief business correspondent, Taylor Young, who is outside the Rocket Mortgage building, and they actually had to evacuate. Taylor.
Of concern. There are massive chunks of debris, and as you can imagine, these were probably flaming hot when they fell from the sky. We're about a quarter of a mile away from where that fire started, and about an hour and a half ago I spoke to an employee of Rocket Mortgage. They were evacuated. So he says that they were told that these chunks had fell on the roof. Chunks, so we even saw even bigger chunks over there, had potentially fallen onto the roof and had caused some smoke. I asked him if he had seen any flames. He said he had not, as far as he's concerned. But right now, crews are still here. They've been here for about an hour and a half. We haven't seen any more arrive since then, but we've seen, fire officials up on the roof. We've seen water be brought in. I think as what other people have been saying, it is very warm out here. These crews have been out here for hours. They're going to continue to be out here. So they brought some water. We have been seeing some people up on the roof right now. It does look like things have calmed down here a little bit. Again, we did not see any actual flames on this building, but I think the biggest concern was that this fire was going to continue to spread to other buildings. And, you know, we have a neighborhood right to my left. We have multiple businesses to my right. This is a congested area, so fire crews are absolutely looking around the area and make sure that none of this debris has fallen on trees, on homes, on businesses. And this is exactly how they're treating it when they do see signs of smoke on businesses. You know, they've been here, you know, out to this location at least for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, they're making sure that this doesn't spread to an even bigger situation than it already is.
All right, Taylor, thank you for being out there. I mean, frightening when you see the size of those chunks that Taylor was showing us there. And talking about the area in terms of response, we do want to bring up our traffic speed map there if we can to show you CMPD still asking people to avoid the area. All of South Park area. We know Liberty Road Drive they're asking to avoid, Fairview Drive, Assembly, and showing there that's what it looks like. Even though some roads have opened up, we see that Park South Drive is a lot better than it was. Fairview Road is a lot better than it was a few hours ago. That doesn't mean that you can go down to that area. Make sure you stay away. CMPD is still asking for people to avoid that area if they can there, because they still need to continue to put out those hot spots. Make sure those firefighters can get in and out. Allow for people, if they have loved ones, to find a way to get in there.
And we know that area is busy on a normal day, right? The roads are sort of narrow. There's a lot of businesses and restaurants over there. And during rush hour, whether it's morning, that lunch rush, or in the evening, it's already busy. So if you can find an alternate route as you're taking your lunch break or you're heading home early because of that fire, just keep that in mind. Try to find a different way to get home or wherever.